Well, hello everybody. Welcome. Cody here. I'm very excited to deliver you guys this message today. So this one is going to be in honor of the current energies right now here in this world. So there's a lot that's been happening right now, and I wanted an opportunity to be able to connect with you guys and share a little bit of what to expect with these current energies coming in. What we need to look out for, what we need to consider in our day-to-day lives, what we need to consider in our efforts moving forward, what we can maybe more embody within ourselves so that we can capitalize on these energies in a way that serves us as well as those around us as well. So this message is going to be channeled from me. So I have my spirit guides here that will be informing this transmission. I've also tapped in beforehand through meditation, just tapping into the downloads, tapping into some of the messages that they like to make you guys aware of, the themes that we need to consider here, and just sort of equipping you guys with everything that you need in order to stay in an optimal state of being, which absolutely is possible. That's one of the prime messages here, you guys. Yes, there's so much going on around you, but what's going on within you, inside of you, does not always have to match what's happening in your outside reality. And we're going to get a little bit more into that in just a minute. So firstly, I want to talk about just generally what we're seeing in these current energies right now, because it has been absolutely a tides turning. It's almost like if you were to view a hurricane from outer space, when you can sort of see the storm, you can see like the accumulation of, all those winds and those clouds just sort of centering and just spiraling almost. It is one of the most impeccable transformations that has ever happened on this planet. And one of the things that we want you to understand is that this is not something necessarily that we invoked. This is not something that we invited. This is something that we knew was going to happen and that we chose to opt into this particular lifetime. And the reason for that is because whenever there is these major influxes of these energies coming in like this, where it is just off the wall, turning everything upside down, changing everybody's mindsets, beliefs, just killing off everybody's egos, when things come in like that, they offer us the most prime opportunity for growth and expansion. And you can see from a soul universal based perspective how, of course, coming into a life such as this, with circumstances like this where everything is turning and changing, that's going to offer us the most prime opportunity for expansion and growth. And now the other message here that they want you to become aware of is that this life is not about suffering. It's not here so that we experience pain. Yes, it is a component. It's part of the configuration of this planet to endure, painful experiences that kind of shape and fuel our desires and creations that come later in life. However, that pain is not something that we're meant to hold on to. That trauma was never designed to be something that was supposed to hold us down in the long run. That simply was not the purpose. That is how it's affecting us currently at this time in humanity's shadow. However, what we are seeing happening right now in these shifts of these energies, this transformation, is a shift in our beliefs, a shift in our mindsets, a shift in the way that we perceive our lives, our emotions, the way we operate. Everything is going to be completely turned upside down. And a lot of people want to know what this quote unquote new world is going to look like. And if you can imagine a new world where everybody's beliefs, fear-based beliefs, are sort of turned upside down, that's what it's going to look like. And if you can imagine what the process of turning everyone's beliefs upside down would look like, that's what it's going to look like. That's not to alarm you guys, because the other message that they want to instill in you guys is frequency, is about frequency. So we're going to be talking a little bit about frequency today. So the thing about frequency is that here on this planet, that you can exist within your own universe simultaneously to someone else experiencing their own universe, and that's because of frequency. That's because your experience directly relates to what your universe of thoughts are, and your experience corresponds to whatever those thought patterns are. So you think of a world of 6 or 7 billion people on this planet, how many different universes there are, how many different frequencies there are, how many different realities there are within this one objective reality. There's so many. And it's very hard for us to understand this, but you do have control over your individual experience. And although there are so many other simultaneous things happening to other people in this world and other things in this world, you do have choice. You do have the opportunity to commit to your universe. And in doing so, you're going to pull other people around you vibrationally into alignment as well, because this universe responds to frequency. So when you are elevating your frequency very, very high, you are entraining those around you into that frequency as well. And that frequency represents very, very elevated consciousness. Consciousness equipped with knowledge and wisdom and truth and healing, equipped with the ability to help other people as well as yourself. So those of you who are resonating in this higher frequency, you're going to be noticing a call to action. You're going to be noticing that pull, especially during this time, in order to speak out, to make people aware of things. Now, when we are not totally in alignment and there are sort of splits within our being, multiple different frequencies that we are possessing, sometimes those call to actions can be very out of alignment. So just becoming aware of the ways that we choose to share our information so that we can share it in a way that is true to you, but that does not sort of infuse some of that resistance inherent within that statement, because in doing so, you are inviting that frequency to your message, and people are going to feel that upon reading your message. And times like these, just to speak frankly for a minute, are times that are going to trigger us emotionally. It's going to cause us to react, and that is going to be natural during this time when things are being turned upside down, when our planet and our political leaders are fostering agendas that are not in alignment with our truth, with love, with self-awareness, with compassion, with empathy, with allowing. These are beliefs that resonate in fear. Fear is the Achilles of our planet. Thoughts are the Achilles of our planet. The one thing that I think that we would all do a service to understand is that if you were to completely silence your thoughts, so when we talk about things like meditation, when we talk about resting, me time, taking a bath, having some tea, having a bubble bath, what that does for us is it slows down our thoughts and it returns us to our infinite being, our eternal self, our soul, which represents our unique flavor of source frequency, your unique God essence, which resonates in the highest frequency that there is. So when we talk about prioritizing things like these or anything that would sort of get you into that process, this is why, because you are vibrationally removing yourself from situations that would cause you turmoil and chaos on this planet just by virtue of your thoughts. If you are thinking really, really positive thoughts, it's essentially going to, because those thoughts resonate in such high frequencies, it's closer a vibrational match to your soul frequency or your source self or your higher self, however you'd like to use it. It's all semantics. So that being said, there are people on our planet right now that are resonating in fear and projecting that fear onto the masses in a way that is extremely infectious to our society, into the human psyche, and is going to create lasting damage that is nearly irreversible for many, many people. However, it is not irreversible when you become conscious, when you are aware that you are not your thoughts, you are not your beliefs, you are not your viewpoints, you are not your perspectives. You are source. You are source's unique perspective exhibited through you. These are messages that have been told for centuries. And the reason for that is to prepare us for moments like we are a part of right now, where there's so much influx, so much stirring happening, and a lot of crumbling that's going to happen. Now, the crumbling is not going to be a part of those of us who are resonating in the higher frequency, who are committing to love consciousness, heart consciousness, truth, awakening, where we are following the path of our souls. The destruction is going to happen to those people who are resisting. Resistance is the root of all suffering. The only time you suffer in life is when you are resisting what is. In any given situation, that is what creates suffering. So, what we're being called to do right now on this planet is prioritize heart consciousness, prioritize getting to know who we are, prioritize being yourself, following your truth, doing things that make you happy, doing things that make you free, feel joyous, things that bring about inspiration. Because when you get into this pattern of doing and being, you're going to attract more things that are aligned with who you are so that you can create your soul here on this planet. The purpose of you being here is to embody the essence of your unique soul onto this physical planet. So we're taking a very, very high non-physical energy and we are putting it in this third dimensional physical based reality and seeing how that becomes. And the way that we do that is by allowing our source flow. The destruction on this planet is going to happen to those people who resist the death of their egos. And what resisting the death of your ego looks like is just being very rigid in your thought patterns and in your beliefs, resonating in fear-based thoughts, anxiety, insecurities, projections, judgments, things like that, either on yourself or on other people. It's very challenging to talk about things like this because on one end, you know that society is collapsing. And I know that sounds startling to a lot of people, but we have to remember, and this is why they wanted to talk about frequency first, is that when we say society is crumbling, what frequency is society a part of? Society is a part of the lower frequency. So society is part of fear-based frequency. So fear-based frequencies are collapsing. And we want to remind you that because if you think of fear collapsing in this world, what are you left with? You're actually left with truth and love and light and happiness. So does that mean all those people who are a part of society are all going to die off? To be honest, many are going to die off. And the others will move on to the new frequency. And in doing so, that will also require a death, except this time it's a death of their ego, as opposed to an actual death, which essentially would take them to that new frequency as well, except not on this planet, just a different place. So it was very alarming at first when I tapped into these energies, because what I kept seeing is death. I saw death. That's very frightening to see that. But we have to understand, what is the meaning of death. So going into that a little bit more, I was able to uncover that this death that's occurring is the death of ego, as well as the ending of a pattern of thought, a paradigm that is ending its cycle and has been approaching this end for some time now. And many who are a part of society have resisted this ending. And those are the ones who will suffer the most. Don't take this as something that you feel a righteous duty to now wake everyone up and you like force everyone into alignment, because that's resistance. Remember, we have to invite ease. Let's invite ease to all of our practices, of all of our efforts, because the intention that you go into anything that you do with will always produce that result based on your intention. So if you go in with love, if you go in with ease, if you go in with relaxation, your results will reflect that. If you go in with resistance, if you go in with anger, if you go in with fury, what you will get will reflect that. So as you can see, there's a lot that's happening right now. And currently you might be feeling a little bit unsettled, just knowing that what's happening right now in our world that we're seeing on the news, on media, that is not going to end. It's actually going to get worse. But we have to know what this symbolizes. When these sort of things are getting worse, that just means that frequency is falling away, and those that are trying to keep it together are just resisting it more, and that's creating a more chaotic experience, a more chaotic reality. We are watching the process of this fall away completely. And there will be a time where that is not even within our realm of thought, regardless of if it's still there or not. Realistically speaking, things like that will be around for quite some time. But you will notice that it's not a part of your world. It's not a part of your reality. It's not a part of your universe, because that's not a part of your realm of thought. And your experience, your existence, is literally dependent on what your universe of thoughts are. It's conscious and subconscious. And when you make that commitment to the new frequency and into embodying the fullness of your soul, which represents everything that you've ever wanted, everything that you've ever imagined, when you really step into that, you will find that you're not even considering what's on the news, who the things that they're talking about on the news are going to affect. That whole paradigm will simply cease to exist and not be a part of your realm of thought, your reality. It's not going to exist anymore, and it's not going to be something that you have to worry about. The other thing that I want to talk about is the guilt, because many of us have a lot of guilt about entering that new frequency, because entering the new frequency or the new paradigm, we're afraid of leaving people behind, people who are just not there yet. We're here to remind you that the number one thing that you can do for those people is embody love, embody self-love, show your self-love, put yourself first, prioritize yourself, empower yourself, become conscious yourself. Your dedication to yourself will inform their dedication to themselves as well. To themselves, excuse me. Them just witnessing someone from their universe entering that state of being will be transformational like nothing else that they've ever been a part of before. And taking that resisting sort of energy and going in and trying to change them, that's you're not introducing a higher frequency to them. The only way you can introduce this higher frequency to them is through ease, through harmony, through grace, through just being and embodying and trusting that their inner guidance system will resonate with that aspect of truth within you and will guide them incrementally to the process of their empowerment, which will essentially save them, help them find their refuge. Now, save is like a really dramatic word. I don't mean to say it like that. I know we talked about things like death on here, but I want to incorporate an element of awareness of what is happening right now, as well as an element of reassurance and understanding that what's happening right now has been happening, and what's being provoked right now has been provoked for some time right now, and that you actually do have all the components required for you to be exempt from the damage and the turmoil and the chaos that has been here and that is going to come a lot more in the future. You have the ability to opt out, and it is literally a choice. It's literally your thoughts. That's all that's required of you. So, one more thing that you will be noticing with these current energy phases is you're going to feel an urge to move to another physical location. And the reason for this is because you are so connected to your soul stream that the intuition from your soul is feeding you information about where to position yourself vibrationally to allow what's going to happen on this planet to not affect you. You are being pulled in the direction of relaxation, of ease, of tranquility, of peace, the most prime place to allow you to step into your power, to progress spiritually, and expand as a soul. These are forces that have been guiding you and pushing you in the direction of this for some time. However, this is the thing that is just so stark and so dramatic that it's going to just cause you to take that action more now than it ever has before. And resisting that is going to cause you a lot more suffering. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody has to go and move, but if you feel that inkling within you to go kind of find refuge during this time, that's a little bit of an aggressive way of putting it, but if you feel that urgency, I would highly, highly recommend it, because they are showing me, a lot of us, particularly, I just use the term light workers, they're showing me us being kind of gathered in very, very specific locations where would allow us to fulfill our effort and our mission and our purpose more so there than we would be in our current physical location. So when I say purpose, when I say effort, when I say mission, that's just your involuntary effort, your involuntary being, your existence in the way that affects people around you in a positive way. So if you're feeling that urgency, please, please, please move with these energies. These energies do not want to be resisted. Remember, at any given moment, we are either in receptivity of source energy or resistance of source energy. And when we allow the source energy, it's going to inform thoughts, inspired actions, moves, decisions, all kinds of things. And when we allow that energy, we don't really have many questions at all, because we just sort of intuitively know and have a gut instinctual reaction as to what the next course of action is. So above all, these energies are causing us to in tune more with ourselves so that we can be our own guru and guide ourselves to finding our truth and finding our personal freedom and liberation. Thank you all for participating in this message with me. I so appreciate you all very, very much. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. There's also a bell notification button that will notify you when I have a new video released immediately. There's also the Patreon group. So the Patreon group, I post videos pretty much every other day, if not every day. I love interacting with that community. It's really just such an honest representation of who we are, and it allows us this real free space to just play and receive powerful activations, downloads, frequencies, teachings, healings. There's also a Discord community, so there you can actually interact in chat rooms with the other members and just have a beautiful, co-creative, expansive community to grow together. We're all learning here. And Patreon is becoming this really, really incredible space that's private and playful and learning and just so exciting. So if you feel guided to join that, I'll put that link in the description as well. And if you feel like this video would actually resonate with anybody immediately in your life or on social media, there are so many people that's struggling right now. If you feel like some of the messages in this video would assist any of them, please consider sharing that. That is just as much your effort as it is mine. Thank you very, very much. Sending you all lots of love, and please look out in the future for more videos of this nature. I think it's very, very important that I address these topics, particularly during this time. Any one of us, that feels like we have something to offer in this time, trust that effort, trust that nudge from your guidance team, because there is something for the rest of the world that you have to offer. Thank you very much. Peace and love. Bye now.